Hello people of YouTube, it's Deepak here, and welcome to the DCS news for the 11th of March 2023. I hope you all enjoyed that previous video that I posted there. A slight departure from my usual tutorial series. I thought it'd be quite interesting to do a bit of a dive into multi-threading and see what kind of performance improvements we can expect. Because of course this is a big anticipated feature and one that will almost certainly continue to be tweaked and adjusted. So I'm sure this is not the final version of it just yet. So welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome Paul Dillon, welcome Colin Kelly, welcome Bina Babe, welcome Sim Taylor, welcome Storm Kambari, welcome Echo, welcome Pink Floyd, welcome Tier Zero, welcome Packer Edge, welcome Griff Nizzle. Griff Nizzle still blown away that they released such a major core improvement and it's mostly not completely broken. I've got to say, I'm very impressed. Multi-threading is not generally a simple feature to implement in a game engine, and they seem to have done a rather good job of it. So hats off, Eagle Dynamics, well done. This is a pretty good release. JP Gibbons, welcome. Leonetzel, Fighter Jets HQ, Colin Kelly. Have not noticed big change in VR. Yep, same for me actually. In VR, I would say that I'm maybe seeing 5 FPS more than I had in 2.8.2, if that. It's basically exactly the same. But Griff Nizzle has made some good suggestions, and I'm currently running OpenXR. I'm going to tweak my settings and see if I can improve that. I may well be getting kind of frame rate bound somewhere, and I could perhaps fix that. So we'll see what happens. I will post more information in a video about VR performance once I've gotten a proper handle on it. I just haven't been able to do all the testing that I want to do and get my head around all the settings yet, so that will be coming later. Only Napalm and Frank, Channel Right, Anoro, Mike Delta, welcome everybody, Grimnir, Mr. Yeti, and Genocide Jim. Oh dear, what a name. Welcome everybody to the stream. You're all very welcome. It's great to have all of you aboard. We've got a fairly packed news episode today. There is a bunch of stuff going on. So without any further ado, I shall jump straight into the Eagle Dynamics newsletter, as I often do. And let's have a little look at this. Oh, this is actually... give me a moment. I might need to make a small adjustment. I was messing around... Oh dear. Oh no, I've done something. There. That's maybe a bit better. Let me know. I looked at my kind of stream repeater and it looked like really blown out. It looked really bright when I brought up that white background in the browser window. So let me know if that looks okay now. That should be a bit better. Echo, so pleased with this update. My VR performance is definitely smoother with higher settings. Big improvements for Mike Delta, 15 FPS to 70. Oh my. Wow, and you're getting 50 in VR. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely doing something wrong, because my machine is fairly high-end, and I'm only getting kind of 35 in most situations in VR. So I definitely have some tweaking to do in VR. I'm clearly doing something wrong. Mark, Hotas Warhog, thinking about it, is it worth it, or is there an alternative? Norway loves taking more money from folks than anywhere else. Well, yeah. I'm in Sweden. You're probably in one of the few places where stuff is even more expensive than it is here, so I feel for you. I just had to rebuild my computer, and the component prices are insane here. And the selection is not even that good. Like, you can't... there's not that much stuff to choose from, and it's all expensive. Welcome, War Games. Sim Taylor, NVIDIA or AMD video card? There's some tweaks I read on Facebook that they say helps with AMD processors and NVIDIA video cards. In my case, I'm AMD across the board. Yeah, I would agree with Griff Nizzle's point here about the HOTAS. I'm a big Virpil fanboy. My complete setup is Virpil. I think that they're excellent. That said, I think VKB and WinWing are also looking really good. So give it a go. Okay, excellent. Yeah, Mr. Yeti, I'm getting CPU bound in VR, but not in 2D. That's actually exactly the same for me. When I'm on the ground, I'm GPU bound in 2D, but CPU bound in VR. That seems to be the exact same thing for me. Leonetza, a little noob in this, but do you have to make any changes in the graphics card? Because I didn't notice any significant changes in the game. Make sure that you're running the multi-threaded version. So the game now has a bin folder. Well, it always had a bin folder, which has a DCS exe in it. You now also have a bin-mt folder, and in there's also a DCS exe. Make sure you run the one that's in bin-mt. That then is you running the multi-threaded version. Excellent. Anyway, let me start with the news. I could read chat all day. It's fantastic talking to you guys. And feel free to post in the chat the performance that you're experiencing with multi-threading. It's very interesting to gather this data. But let's get started. Dear fighter pilots, partners, and friends, we are delighted to announce that the latest open beta introduces our first iteration of multi-threading support. We await your feedback with great interest, and if you're a power user, we encourage you to get familiar with this technology by reading the multi-threading FAQ forum post. This FAQ is very good. They go into a lot of detail. Included in the most recent DCS open beta are all the latest improvements for DCS F-16C Viper, DCS FA-18C Hornet, and several third-party modules that include the DCS Mirage F1, huge update on that one, DCS AV-8B NA, DCS M2000, and more. Nice update on the Viggen as well. We'll be seeing that in a moment. For a full list of all new features and squashed bugs, please read the full changelog. We'll do that in just a moment. We understand that many of you are eagerly awaiting new AH-64D features. Please rest assured that we are working steadily on this complex helicopter with dedicated resources and feedback. Thank you for your passion and support. Good evening, Yogi. Welcome to the stream. Paul Dillon, mine said that, but checked in Windows and still have loads of headroom left on the CPU. Yeah, keep in mind it might not necessarily create as many threads as you have cores, depending on the type of CPU you have. So yes, you may find that the game will say that it's CPU bound, but overall you still have CPU resources available. Yogi, can you go through the FAQ for the multi-threading, please? Okay, I can do that. Let's do it. So they have a bit at the beginning just telling you how to launch it. The important thing is that for those of us running standalone, make sure that you are in bin-mt and run the copy of DCS that's in there. The normal bin folder will give you single threading. If you're in Steam, then Steam actually has a pop-up for you to make this all easier. What is multi-threading? I'm not going to go into detail about that one just now. Short version is that it splits the executable up into lots of little pieces and runs them on different cores of your CPU. Why am I seeing no or little performance gain? There could be many reasons for this. You might be GPU bound, meaning that your graphics card is limiting your performance. Even if you have a powerful CPU, MT will have little or no performance gain if your GPU is holding it back. MT is most effective in large missions with many units. In small missions with a limited number of units, CPU calculations are not hitting the performance limit. As such, you may not see much of an MT performance gain in small missions. That said, I actually have. Older CPUs will not benefit as much from MT as many modern CPUs with a greater number of core/threads. Yeah, this is also the case. If you have an older dual-core or quad-core CPU, you're going to get less improvement here. And yep, it also states make sure that you've updated to the latest open beta and that you are running the version of the game that's in the bin-mt folder. Are there any known issues that I should be aware of? NS430 is completely inoperable, not in 2D or 3D. Well, that's a big one. I actually like that. I use it in the Gazelle a lot. Exported displays are broken. Sometimes they're working, sometimes they're ghosting and doing other kind of weird things. They're basically not working. DCS won't start in a PC with a CPU that has more than 32 CPU threads. There's not that many CPUs out there that have that many, but if you have something like an AMD Threadripper, then you are sadly out of luck right now. You'll need to run in single-threaded mode. Stand by. Excuse me. Sporadic stuttering in 2D and VR. I haven't experienced this. K50, the IT23 display is coloured. In the supercarrier, signal wand lights and holdback bar are invisible. I heard about this. In the supercarrier, there is no picture on the LSO displays. Display issues with a limited set of VR devices. Dedicated server doesn't start automatically. First time after the update, you got to click the start button in the web GUI. A rare occasion of stretched cockpit resolution happens randomly on first launch, and motion blur can cause blue/black fog. There you go. Anything else that might actually be useful for you guys to know? Maximum number of threads that it can use are 16. Will VR and flat screen have equal performance? No, not really. Yeah, note that in VR, it's generally more demanding, so you will see lower FPS than in 2D. Will performance be improved for people currently bottlenecked by their GPU? Short answer, no. This will not make as much difference if your GPU is the thing gating you. Are there any downsides to MT if I have a CPU with very few cores? While MT can improve performance on a CPU with multiple cores, it may not provide significant benefits on a CPU with few cores. In fact, it could even lead to decreased performance in some cases. There's a very, very small overhead to threading, you see. But if you have enough cores, you don't notice. Will the dedicated server also be multi-threading? At the current time, no. At the current time, it's single-threaded, but it's coming for the future. Will I be able to play using MT on servers or large missions that I couldn't before? Yes, almost certainly. This is going to help. If you had missions before that were a little bit too weighty for your PC to run, simply enabling multi-threading might get you going, which is pretty damn good. Can MT and ST clients join the same server? Yes, it doesn't make any difference at all. Should I enable hyperthreading? If you have too many cores, you need to turn it off, but most people should leave it on. So yeah, basically if you have 16 physical cores, you should probably turn off hyperthreading. Can I expect more bugs with MT? Yes. Short answer. Yeah, there's going to be some bugs. I've not seen any improvements. What can I do? If you're not seeing any improvements in performance, please make a forum post and follow the instructions they give you here. And can I launch VR in MT? The short answer is yes, but you need to make sure that you're launching DCS from within the bin-MT folder, and you need to use your usual parameters like force enable VR or selecting OpenXR, which is what many people are using. So that's the short skim over the FAQ. I recommend that you all take a look at that. It's in the DCS World 2.8 section of the forum. I'm going to take a quick look at chat now. Yeah, Sim Taylor. Well, even with the small bugs, the upside seems to be monumentally better than the downside, and the downsides will be taken care of with small bug fixes. Very much agree. Like you saw my video there, the performance increase that I was seeing is kind of mind-blowing. I went from 66 frames a second to, in some cases, 180. That's sort of crazy. Packer Edge, in my 2D setup, the MT messes with my second monitor, where I have... Oh, yeah, that's correct, yeah. Display export is bugged for now. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and you mentioned that yourself. Very nice. Yeah, seeing a few people posting that they've got good improvements. Sim Taylor, I wish they'd say if that was 32 real cores or 32 real and virtual cores. Little too vague. They actually, further up in the FAQ, they do qualify this. So when they're talking about the threads in multi-threading, of course, a thread can be run on a physical core or a virtual core. They're talking about 32 total. So in most cases, that's going to be a 16-core physical machine. So 16 physical cores, which of course, usually each physical core will run 2 hyperthreads or virtual cores for a total of 32. So they mean 32 total. So that will mean, in most cases, 16 physical cores. Oh dear. Brian Eseli, RWR is not giving warnings. Can you state the aircraft you're having the problem with, Brian? That's an interesting one. Leo501, do you think multi-GPU will be supported in the future and render one per eye or per GPU? That's a very interesting question. We used to see, what did they call it again? NVIDIA had a term for running 2 GPUs like that. I've completely forgotten what they used to call it. That was popular for a time and has now kind of disappeared because so many graphics engines don't support it. So many games, for so many games, you were getting no benefit. Basically, you were just using up so much more electricity and generating heat for no purpose. That would be cool, I think. Not all motherboards have the capability to run two high-end GPUs, though. So SLI, thank you everybody, SLI. I don't know if AMD called it the same thing, but yeah, certainly that was the NVIDIA term. AMD had similar technology. Yeah, that's kind of fallen out of favour. I can see a benefit to that, though, for VR. You could dedicate a GPU per eye. That's kind of cool. AMD one was Crossfire, thank you very much. Yes. Yeah, who knows? It sounds like a clever way of doing it. But sadly, no longer done. So, moving on, Open Beta development update. With the latest Open Beta updates, you too can now get your first glimpse at the initial iteration of our multi-threaded version of DCS. Whilst in an early stage, we are confident that this will be a vast improvement in the long term. If you wish to try it out and to learn more about multi-threading, please check out the instructions, and they talk about the FAQ that we just went over. Please note that the Garmin NS340, I'm sure it's 430 actually, but anyway, navigation system is currently not compatible with the multi-threaded version of DCS. For a full list of known issues and recent changes in the latest Open Beta, please read the full changelog. If you wish to try the multi-threaded version of DCS Steam Edition, simply select multi-threading preview option from the Steam launcher. Pink Floyd, I think MT borked my VSN F104 mod. Missions won't load in MT. Yeah, almost certainly. Certain mods will not work in MT. So if you want to run those, just switch back to ST. There are still, as my video shows, there are still some performance improvements in 3.8.3, even in single-threaded mode. So, no, 2.8.3. Sorry, I'm talking nonsense. 2.8.3 single-threaded is still faster than 2.8.2. So there you go. Yeah. Sim Taylor mentioning the fact the connector for SLI is now gone on modern cards. Yeah, I'd heard that. So you can't even... Well, there might be software ways of doing it. I don't know. Adrian, there is a temp solution for exporting views on Hoggit Reddit, changing some Lua file entry from true to false. Sounds good. Sounds good. Cool. Anyway, moving on. Hornet and Viper development progress. As you may have noticed, both the Hornet and the Viper are under constant development to improve details and characteristics in addition to adding features and addressing bugs. After many years of determined attention, both modules are approaching a feature-complete status. You can view the Hornet roadmap here and the Viper roadmap here on our forum. We've gone over these fairly recently, so I'll leave that as an exercise for all of you to go and have a read if you want to. But yeah, suffice to say, they're both very close. Both the Hornet and Viper will benefit from a refactoring of the radar that will provide more realistic behavior with noticeable improvement in the time between detected and tracking, look-down performance, and the effect of azimuth and bar settings. In addition, both will be receiving new 3D pilot models with lifelike animations, associated mission editor, and Planner's digital transfer cards. DTC people, DTC, you know how excited I am about this. As well as new bomb fuse support, which actually some of that's already in, including programmable fuses and air burst options. Finally, the DCS FA-18C Hornet is currently undergoing an update to its flight model and flight control system, adjusting the external lights and loft cues for GPS-guided weapons. Likewise, the Viper is also undergoing several unique additions, like the Velocity Search Radar mode, that's a cool one, more data link functions, and a radar warning receiver handoff mode. Even after both aircraft exit early access, development will continue. Okay. Haha, Griff Nizzle. Voodoo 3D can multiple GPUs on the same card. Okay. Amazing. Nice. Hammy, multi-threading feels good to me. I'm in 2D, can now record in Shadowplay with decent FPS, even on Syria. Yeah, in 2D, the improvement in performance is amazing. Leo 501, SLI is for GPUs to share the workload, but what I'm talking about is in VR letting one card to render each channel/I. That might need some hardware support from the headset now that I think about it, because the headsets in most cases have a single display port or HDMI for the video. So yeah, interesting. Moving on, AH-64D development progress. Work continues steadily on DCS AH-64D, with much of the focus being on bug fixes and polishing, before delivering you with more features. It is very important that we secure a solid foundation to build upon. Additionally, a big push on fixes and tuning has been made to alleviate player confusion and frustration. Some of the notable items that are underway can be found in the forum posts here, and include tuning of the damage model, engine start issues. There's some fixes for those in today's update, yesterday's update in fact. Improvements to the flight model, stability augmentation system, and hold modes. Although bug fixing and tuning has been our priority, we have certainly been working on new features that are not restricted to, by existing bugs. Some of these include the option to remove the auxiliary fuel tank for more cannon rounds, the addition of the AGM-114L radar-guided Hellfire, we don't have the radar yet though, the improved data link modem, and longbow net, and the fire control radar, the laser spot tracker, animated engine nacelle cooling doors, and wipers to remove raindrops. Please stay tuned for more information on these new features coming soon. Thank you again for your passion and support. Very exciting. Oh dear. Yep. DTC implementation would be absolutely great, says Ernest Winslow. Yeah, this is one of the big things I'm excited about. I'm always talking about the DTC, and I'm very much looking forward to that coming. I know the Eagle Dynamics are working on it. So, actually, we already did the FAQ. So now let's jump into DCS 2.8.3.37556 Open Beta. In this OB update, we're introducing a multi-threaded version of the DCS for the first time. This is the FAQ. Please note that this is still a beta and may contain bugs and glitches. We get 3 new campaigns in the form of the DCS Mosquito FB6V for Victory campaign by Reflected Simulations. We get the AV8B Kerman campaign by Ground Pounder Sim, and the FA18C Inherent Resolve campaign by Looking Glass. So, onto the actual changelog. Bunch of fixes here. I wonder if there's anything actually worth calling out. Yeah, rain in the cockpit has been fixed on numerous modules. That's a funny one. There was a problem that runway craters were actually not affecting aircraft taking off or landing. That's now fixed. Some people will be sad about that. Corrections to AIM-7 and AIM-120 autopilots when using flood mode. A couple of CTDs have been, actually a few CTDs have been fixed. That's quite good. What else have we got? Nothing else really to call out just now, I would say. And then in the case of the F-18C Hornet, addition of a Russian localization, more instant action missions, and then a whole load of fixes. None of these really I would call out. Although, actually, I like this one. Fixed. Pilot arms would flail around when launching from carrier. That sounds hilarious. I wish they hadn't fixed that. Yeah, the warning caution dimmer seems to have no effect. That's now been fixed. I noticed that, in fact. That's good that they fixed that. Yeah, bunch of really good fixes here. DCS F-16C Viper, again, added Russian localization and then a whole load of fixes. I don't know if there's anything particularly worth calling out here. But lots of nice bug fixes here. Good to see them really focusing on bug fixing and cleaning these modules up. That's really good to see. DCS AH-64D, they've added the perf page VSSE calculations. I don't even know what that means. So if there are any helicopter pilots out there who want to tell me, that'd be great. Oh, SATCOMs, Fighter Jets HQ. Yep, SATCOMs are coming. Thanks to the fact that we have the ARC 210 now. Glad they fixed the engine startup, spells word 91, yep. Genocide Jim, very informative, thanks for the update. Time to get the VR out and see if it's made much difference. Yeah, like I said, for me, no. For some people, yes. But I probably need to adjust some of my settings. Yeah, this is going to take a while, Sim Taylor. This is a bigger one. Rain in the cockpit. Anyone tried the new radio? No, not yet. I intend to. Actually, I intend to make a video on the ARC 210 demonstrating it, so I'll do that soon. Oh yeah, new JF-17 skins. Leonetzel, I thought it'd be a map release, but no. Yeah, actually, so did I. I thought something big was coming. To be fair, multi-threading is something big. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, on the Apache, fixed the engine restart issue. That's nice. And there's some desync and other bits and bobs that have been fixed. So it's still continuing to get a lot of nice improvements for the Apache. DCS MI24P Hind. They've added Petrovich AI interface info boxes. Appearance can now be controlled. Let me try and get some grammar out of this. The Petrovich AI interface info boxes can now be controlled whether they appear or not from within the mission editor. Petrovich AI will report target loss and try to keep the sight aimed at the last point of track. They've changed the ammo box states in the cargo cabin, reflecting the ammo usage for the gunner. That's kind of cool. Limit of distance from which Petrovich can see gunfire has now been adjusted. His warnings about missiles and gunfire will not interrupt each other. Several voice-over lines were replaced, added or removed for a better fit, and then a bunch of fixes. So that's kind of cool. DCS A10C2 Tank Killer added new feature, dual band UHF VHF ARC 210 radio. And you should take a little look at Matt Wagner's video all about that. We covered that last week. Hammy, my favourite change other than the MT is the RWR radar volume in the Harrier is apparently turned down, so it won't be bleeding ears, hopefully. Yes, I'm looking forward to testing this myself. This has been a long-standing bug. Like, us Harrier pilots have basically been turning that volume knob to, like, just to where it clicks to the on position and no more, because it's ear-splittingly loud. Amazing stuff. Yeah, the Hind is rather nice. Fighter Jets HQ, it's really easy to use the ARC 210. The ability to use the UFC to change the frequency is amazing. Yeah, it's really, really nice. You're basically getting the same kind of interface that the F-16 has enjoyed since forever. Some fixies in the F-5E Tiger 2. Some fixies in the Supercarrier. Some World War II stuff. A huge update for the Mirage F1 by Aegis. They've added the Barracks Electronic Countermeasures Pod with full functionality. I'll need to try this one out. It sounds really, really cool. I'm not going to go through everything for the Mirage because it's just immense. But something I want to call out is the fact that they've added a lot of the voice warning functionality that the ALR 300 RWR has. So this is really cool. So yeah, you've got voice messages which will call out warnings for, well, it can say alert, it can say missile, it can say airplane, it can say cannon, it can say threat, which is kind of cool. So it looks like quite a good RWR system. And they've also made some small updates to the older BF type RWR as well. And the radar is now rendering on multi-thread. That's really cool. Just so many updates, so many updates. Once the F1 is a little bit more mature, then I will definitely, I'll definitely be doing some videos on that because it looks like a great aircraft. Fighter Jets HQ, don't forget to update your SRS. Yes, the latest version of SRS, which I think came out today, supports the ARC 210, which is really nice. John Blur, hi all, have you gotten to the Kiowa update yet? No, that's next. That's the next tab, so don't worry, you've not missed that. Have no fear. Moving on, Heatblur, we've got some updates from them. AGS-37 Viggen added a new highly detailed turbine model to the aircraft exhaust, added a new boarding ladder to the static aircraft, added intake covers, added dynamic gear door numbers, updated the entire code base for multi-threading compatibility, and so many other stuff. I can't cover all of this, but it's looking very, very nice. And then F-14 Tomcat by Heatblur added the ability to remove the fuel pylons. The cockpit mirrors can now be adjusted. You actually saw a video from them recently where they demonstrated that. This is also a feature that Razbam have been adding to their aircraft. began adding dynamic cockpit forge elements. Now, I jumped into Heatblur's forum to see a little bit more information about this, because forge is, of course, the system that they've been... They promised it from the very beginning for the F-14. They were saying that the cockpit was effectively going to be dynamic. So, like, the kind of wear and tear, and even the equipment installed in the cockpit and its locations would vary from aircraft to aircraft, which is just, like, brilliant, absolutely amazing. So this is like their initial version of it. There's just a bunch of basically random variation that you'll get in the cockpit. You've got no control over it at this stage. It'll just be completely random. Each aircraft you get will be a little bit different, which is just brilliant. Like, Heatblur are just kind of incredible at this stuff. Later on, they're talking about the ability to actually customize your aircraft and actually choose which elements you get. But for now, it's an initial version and it's completely random. Also, major improvement and overhaul of the F-14A FM performance characteristics. They've tuned the level flight acceleration, the turn performance, and the top speed and excess power across the flight envelope. This is just for the F-14A. So, very, very cool. And then a bunch of fixies, bunch of really, really cool fixies here. Nice work. GF-17. 11 new liveries, and more will come in the next update. They've updated the external textures, and then they've got a couple of fixies. AV-8B, my own personal favourite, updated the RWR sounds again. That's interesting. I'll need to take a look at that. Weapons load restrictions to confirm with USMC rules. AG gunsight depression has been updated. Keybinds have been updated. T-pod yardstick calculation is now fixed. That's cool. That was a little bit off. Re-attack arrow rotation when rolling the aircraft is now fixed as well. I had noticed that was a little bit off. M2000C by Razbam. We've got keybinds for the SELH increase and decrease. Auxiliary gun sight deflection axis and binds. Movable mirrors, which they demonstrated in the video. And the landing gear beep button. I've no idea what this is. I'll need to check that out. Christian Eagle 2 has some updates and fixies. Not going to cover those just now. MB339, bunch of bug fixies and some little features there. I-16, Black Shark 3, anything exciting here? Not really. UH-1 gets a bunch of fixies, MI-8 gets a bunch of fixies, Combined Arms. Caucasus map has some fixies, it's been a while. And South Atlantic map by Razbam, we've got some more new airfields. They've also improved the surface mesh overall file size, and they're working at removing shadows from the terrain files. More and more of those getting fixed. And that's it. That is the massive changelog that we have for 2.8.3 as of yesterday. Very, very nice. Griffnizzle, I love this. Adding more jank to the Tomcat is chef's kiss. Yes, indeed. Pink Floyd, any way to find out which in-game settings, like MSAA or SSAO, are affected by the MT? Not that I'm aware of. However, I did do some testing with these, and I found that, MSAA, SSAO, and what's the other one? There's a third one that's just below SSAO or just above it. Those don't seem to make any difference in multi-threading, in my experience. They're mostly loading up the GPU, not the CPU. So yeah. Some Taylor. Ernest Winslow, yes, I'm sure the F-15 Eagle release may have been delayed for the MT launch too. That might be the case. I can imagine that the code base for the F-15 will need adjustments to work well in multi-threading, so might well be the case. Moving on. Just for you, John Bloor, we have this video. Actually, who posted this again? Oh, I've hit a random button. This is... No, oh dear, Finnish people. I'm going to have a go at this. Kiowa Warrior. I'm assuming this is Finnish. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyway, this guy posted a video. This was 4 days ago. Took the Kiowa for a spin to align the grease pencil gun marker. This was my first time flying in fixed 2D view. I'm very much a VR guy, so please excuse the shaky liftoff. Join the Polychop Simulations Discord to find out more. And I'm going to run this without... Actually, the first bit without audio. I guess once we get to the aircraft, I can turn on the audio for all of you. Let me actually make sure that my audio is on. Nope, my audio is not on. Let me just fix it. There we go. Now you've got audio. Enjoy. Channel Right, thank you very much for the donation. That's very, very kind of you. So this is absolutely fantastic to see. We've not seen that much of the Kiowa. We've had the videos from Burundus, of course, giving us lots of background information, but it's been a while since we've seen it in action. They now seem to have more of the modes of the pilot's multi-purpose display, and we're now even seeing output from the mast, the targeting system in the mast, which is really, really nice to see. This is very, very nice. And of course the grease pencil crosshairs in the canopy are very, very nice. Quite fun. Nico, that name means ham cheese sandwich? Are you joking? Is that actually Finnish for ham cheese sandwich? That's brilliant if that's the case. I like ham cheese sandwiches. Oh dear, amazing. F4 soon, fingers crossed. Yes, please. F4 is an amazing aircraft. It'd be cool to see that. So, this is, perhaps not such an exciting video, but it shows us that the Kiowa is progressing, that it's flyable, that many of these systems are now implemented and actually working, which is really, really cool. And it also demonstrates him firing the cannon, so we actually get to see some weapons work, which is nice. Oh, yeah, M4 on the dash there. Yeah, there's a lot of kit in the Kiowa. We've got 2 M4s, we've got a bunch of smoke grenades, we've got what looks like a water bottle there. I'm assuming that's a water bottle. I don't even know what that is. So yeah, I'm going to actually see if I can push this forwards a little bit. I think he starts making use of the cannon somewhere around about here. And we can see that being done, which will be cool. Very smooth flying here from Mr. Ham Sandwich. Oh, right, okay. Fighter Jets HQ, I remember watching real-life Kiowas with M4 firing. That's exciting. Spells word 91, getting a dedicated scout chopper is going to be great. Very much agree. In the VAF, I currently sometimes fly the Gazelle as a scout helicopter, and that's a lot of fun. Like, I really like the scout helicopter role. I think that's a fun role to engage in. Of course, the Kiowa is going to be so much more capable. It's just a much better aircraft for this role. Sim Taylor, like I said, I'll bet releases are on hold till this patch is stabilised. Bug chasing with a patch that's a bit buggy would be problematic at best. You could well be right. That might be the explanation for some of this. Oh, he's armed the weapons. You can see in his MPD there that it says gun. Let's see. I'm going to squeeze off some rounds. There we go. And then I guess he's going to have to adjust his grease pencil mark. You'll see that you can do it with the mouse. Watch this. You can drag on it to put it in the position you want it. So, he's done a little bit of target practice there, and then he's going to move on to the target area and attack some actual enemy vehicles. Griff Dizzle, this might be what finally gets me into Helos. Not as complicated as Pooch, but more capable than something like a Huey. I used to have a lot of fun flying the Huey. I used to fly that quite a bit, and actually the head tracking on the co-pilot's miniguns was a lot of fun. But yeah, this is such a capable machine. Of course, not quite as capable as an Apache. It's not armoured like an Apache, but it can do a lot of stuff, far more than say a Gazelle. Although, the Gazelle, I was impressed. The Gazelle in the scout helicopter role is more capable than you would think. Has basically the same loadout. You've got the cannon on one side and a rocket pod on the other, and it has the capability to generate target coordinates for other aircraft. So, very cool. So here he comes, approaching some, I think these are UAZ off-road vehicles. We're going to get some 30mm. I think it's a 30mm that this aircraft has. It says at the beginning of the video, by the way, that all sound effects are placeholder. So if you don't like the sounds, keep in mind they're probably not final. Well, I think the gun sounds good. Fighter Jets HQ, the Kiowa, I watched it in YouTube, not real life. Ah, I see. That sounds like fun. Either way. Pink Floyd, K-50 is better. Yeah, the K-50 is a very capable helicopter. Sim Taylor, it's an observation helo, not a gunship. Different job and abilities. Very much agree, very much agree. It's perfect for the role that it's employed in. But yeah, I do like the Gazelle. Gazelle's a bit of fun. And they've said that once they've completed the Kiowa, this is Polyjob, that they are going to go back and revise the Gazelle, in particular the flight model a little bit, so that's cool. Griff Nizzle. Bonus, with the Gazelle you can LARP Blue Thunder. Brilliant. Okay, and then he takes it back to the base. That's basically all the firing done, and he goes ahead and lands it on the pad. So yeah, nice little video. Just a 10-minute flight out, doing some target practice, hitting some targets, back to base. Mission accomplished. Yeah, Gazelle is good fun. I do like the Gazelle. It's underappreciated, I would say. It's underappreciated. It's fairly capable. I've actually not used it that much in the anti-tank role, but as a scout helo, I think it's very effective. Quite a bit of fun. It's fast as well. That's the great thing. You know, I can get in the target area before most other types of helicopter, so that's nice. So here you go. Nice video by our man. Ham cheese sandwich. Very nice. Here's another little video that popped up from Razbam recently. It's probably not worth having the audio on this one, it's just a Huey making noise. This looks kind of like it was filmed in VR or with a head tracker, I'm not sure which. And here we're seeing the AH-64D De Mayo aircraft carrier, which Razbam are going to be adding to the South Atlantic map. So really, really cool. That we're getting this extra aircraft carrier, and if I'm remembering correctly, I think this was actually originally a British aircraft carrier that was converted and sold to Argentina. I think it's an older British one. Sim Taylor, maybe it's my marine heritage, but I'd love to see a Cobra Whiskey or a Cobra Zulu. Very much agree. Of course, I'd prefer to see a Zulu. Have all the toys, that'd be nice. But I think there is a Whiskey being worked on as a community mod, but I don't think it's that complete yet. So yeah. Anyway, let's fast forward this one a little bit, and here we have Razbam giving a bit of a kind of tour of the what's it called again? De Mayo. De Mayo carrier. World War II vintage, I think, says Spellsword91. Yeah, it certainly looks the style. It looks like a World War II style of carrier. I'm excited for this. I think this is really cool. I like that Razbam are adding so many ships and aircraft carriers in particular to the game. This is very, very nice. Good for A4s, says Nico. Yes, of course, and that's almost certainly what Argentina would have been using it for. I would imagine it would be for launching A4s, which they had. But yeah, looking really nice. This is a nice video showing off the model. And of course, this is a Cato bar carrier with an angled deck. So you know, I'm guessing that since it's World War II use, it was modernized. But I think it's a single. Is it a single catapult, or does it have two catapults? It certainly has no waste catapults, that's for sure. So, you know, it's quite a small carrier, kind of a limited carrier, but still, you know, fantastic to have. Really, really cool. Sim Taylor, yes, it's originally a British World War II carrier, never saw action, was commissioned after World War II, went to Holland first, and then to Argentina. Nice. Nice. So this is a good one. I assume this is coming soon from Razbam, so very, very nice. And then speaking of Razbam, let's take a little look at Razbam's Twitter. They've been posting images of the F-15E Strike Eagle. They're trying to whet our appetite for this aircraft, which will be released soon. We've got a bunch of images here with the aircraft's servicing panels open on the side of the nose there. Oh, for some reason my arrows are not working. There we go. Same on the other side there. Very nicely modelled, all the different line replaceable units, I guess. I don't know if that's what you call them. And then there's the ladder extended. That's pretty cool. Oof. Okay, I guess this is battle damage here. Here's what an F-15 with no wings looks like. It might even still fly, given how big the body of the aircraft is. And then a bunch more of these. This is the work of Metal to Mesh. Razbam are calling this out. So lots of detail on these gear doors. Yeah, you can see everything inside here. Very, very nice. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Very worn danger sticker there. And yep, that's everything that they had posted in that one. Got a few more here, again showing off the servicing panels. This is looking like it's actually in game. I guess when you repair the aircraft, it's going to open these panels. So yeah, pretty cool, pretty cool. Aircraft looking very nice indeed. And anything else to show off? They showed off a video with the ghosting flight controls. That's kind of good. That's kind of good. And then also this short video here demonstrating actually finding a Scud launcher using the synthetic aperture radar. We've seen a lot of demonstrations of the radar already, but to be fair, I could look at these all day. They're absolutely fantastic, and it looks very convincing. Like the model they've created of a modern air-to-ground radar is just incredible. Very, very impressive. The former HMS Venerable, Colossus class carrier. Very nice. Huh. Yes, yeah, Griffin Izzle, famous Israeli example of landing with basically one wing. Yeah, and they credited that to the fact that the aircraft is almost a flying wing. Like the underside of the fuselage actually generates a decent amount of lift. So yes, that's correct. Let's see, he's refining his image here, and this should be Scud launchers that we're searching for here. Yeah, so that's kind of cool. Another nice video. They posted another video, and in this one they demonstrate the fact that the radome is fully simulated inside the nose cone. And the idea is that if your radome gets damaged, you'll be able to see the last position the antenna was in. And then finally, we have a new video from our man Baltic Dragon. And it's the in-game training mission showing you how you can control the displays using the castle hat.
Welcome back. Please wait for everything to load properly. I have paused the simulation so that you can fully focus on the task at hand. Today we will learn how to take command of displays in the front cockpit. Give me a second to set everything up properly for you.
I'm not sure, I don't think I'll actually bother to run this whole video because it's fairly simple and self-explanatory. You have a castle hat, you can press long to the left or to the right or down to control the display that's in that direction, and you'll get the command bars appear at the bottom of the screen, which are just a series of 3 lines. You can also tap the castle hat left or right or down in order to flip through the pages that you've pre-programmed for that display. So working in a very similar fashion to the way that the A10 does. So it's probably not really worth running through this in its entirety. But yeah, nice to see this. Clearly they've already developed the in-game tutorial content, which would suggest that the aircraft is approaching release. And of course the most recent information we have is that we should expect it in something like 2 months or so. So that's pretty cool, pretty excited. Of course, the pre-order is already open. I suspect that many of us have already pre-ordered this aircraft. So there you go. Check out Baltic Dragon's channel for this video. Of course, he had the previous tutorial one about taxiing already. So that was already covered last week. So that's basically all the news we have for this week. It was a pretty big news week, a lot of cool stuff. In particular, the multi-threading. I'm very, very excited about that. And as I said, I'm going to do some more testing with that. Videos to come will be, I'll make a video all about multi-threading in VR once I figure out the best ways to optimize VR, because I'm not getting much of an improvement, and I think I should be. And I'm also going to post a video soon about the ARC 210 for the A10C2. Because that's another cool thing that we got just recently. Channel Right, do you think we'll get the new updated B-52 soon? Oh, that's true. Yeah, I wonder about that, because they were demonstrating the B-1B, the B-52. There was an updated Viking model as well. and we've not seen them in game yet. So yeah, there's a bunch of new AI aircraft models to come into the game. I don't know when we're going to see those, but I would expect soon because they have been showing them off. Ernest Winslow, a new bar is being set by Razbam with their F-15E, a must-have for me. I have to say, it is looking very, very good. And I'm a big F-15E Strike Eagle fan. Of course, I would rather have a Tornado, but that's coming soon as well. Well, soon, probably in a couple of years. It's coming, in any case. And the F-15E is basically an American Tornado. So we can play with that for the meantime. It's going to be nice. Sim Taylor already on the list for the Strike Eagle. Next stop, Phantom. Oh yeah. Very nice. Alrighty, so it's usually about this point in the video that I take the opportunity to pimp the VAF, the Virtual Air Force. This is a virtual online squadron that was originally started by myself and dotChuckles. We have an opt-in milsim approach. You have the option of joining us as a freelancer and flying whatever aircraft you like with no mandatory training. Or alternatively, you can join one of our internal numbered squadrons and conduct mandatory training and get your type rating and do other kinds of other qualifications with us and fly as a squadron. We currently have internal squadrons for the Harrier, most importantly. I'm the squadron leader for Harrier. For the A-10, for the Apache, for the F-16, and for the F-18. We have squadrons both in the EU zone and in the North America zone. So if you're in either of those kinds of ranges of time zones, then we have squadrons to meet your needs. We're normally flying on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. UK time. Sometimes we're doing training, and sometimes we're doing deployments with like a kind of big campaign. We're currently in the middle of a larger campaign based in Syria. And yeah, I guess also to talk about kind of minimum requirements, we do often do missions with the Syria map. NTTR is also an optional map for us, and we use SRS for radio, so you need to have SRS installed. So come along. The Discord link is in the show notes below if you're watching this after the fact, or if you're watching live, it's now in the chat. Go ahead and click that link. Come join us. Everybody is welcome, whether you fly with us or not. We have a variety of channels discussing all manner of topics. So yeah, please come join the VAF. Come fly with us. It's good fun. If you want to fly a Harrier and join my squadron, 3 squadron in the VAF, then yeah, come join the Discord. There are instructions when you join. So, that's basically everything that we have for this week. A nice, chunky update with lots of cool stuff to play with. I've got a whole load of stuff I'm going to have to go now and have a look at. In particular, that forge for the F-14. Really excited about that. And really excited about the ARC 210 and the A-10C. So, I'm going to have a go at that. So, if you haven't already, please subscribe, like, and comment. It's a really big help to me and to the channel. You also have the option, if you'd like to support the channel further, of joining Deephack's ground crew by clicking the join link below. It's big shout out to those of you who've already done so. I need to find my note. Thank you very much everyone who's already done so and supports the channel. Harish Rajan, Leo Netzel, Byron Farrow, Storm Kimbari, Channel Right, Mangash, J.R. Walker, Chandler Hedgevald, Griff Nizzle, Mr. Yeti, Frantic Stone, Bread, Tier Zero, Erdinkirtan, Veli Tapani Korpakanas, Tiger Moto, and Pink Floyd. Thank you very much, all of you, for supporting the channel and helping me to make these videos and the tutorials. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for today. Thank you everybody very much for watching, and fly safe, and I'll see you all next time. Ta-ta!